Hi everyone, Anne O'Connell with OC Publishing here, and welcome to the Author Journey. Today is an extra special day because it is party time, and you know what that means. It means today is a launch day, and today we are launching this beautiful middle grade fairy story, The Last Witch on Skye by Carolyn J. Nicholson. Today is official launch day. So if you pre-ordered, your orders are on their way. And of course, now it's available all over the place. So get out there and order your copy. But what's really special about today, the launch day, is that I have with me here in the studio author Carolyn J. Nicholson. Yay. Welcome, Carolyn, to the Author Journey.
Thank you very much, Anne. I'm really glad to be here. Very excited.
Very exciting. We have our world map. I was going to show everyone where Skye is, but it's kind of hidden. But what I would like to do is we'll have a first toast, and then we'll bring everybody up and cheers. Congratulations on the book. And we are very, very excited that we have the whole team with us today. There's everybody. Yay. Congratulations to you all. I just love this day in the process. And, you know, it's book number 2. Marianne, you were the lead on this project. How do you feel?
Oh, it's always exciting, right? And the best thing, I'm not the author, so I can only imagine what it feels like for Carolyn to hold this book in her hands. It's thrilling for me, and I can imagine for Elizabeth as the illustrator and David for the designer too. Once you actually have that thing that you've envisioned, you've worked on so hard for so long, and then it's a reality, that's the best kind of feeling.
Excellent. And thank you for leading that charge and for creating this incredible team and guiding everybody through on behalf of OC Publishing and Carolyn. So yes. Great job.
Yes, it's amazing that after all that work, all those people, all that talent, and all coming together, and we have a book, and it's just beyond exciting. And we have it on a website, so we have a website now. So everything is going very, very well.
There's your website. Let's everybody, yes, here we are. I'll scroll it down a little bit. So it's a work in progress, but it's kind of exciting. What is going on the next couple of months other than just The Last Witch? Carolyn, talk a little bit about, you've got some parallel projects on the go.
Oh, yes. Well, I have another book on the go, and I'm hoping that it's going to be part of the launch on the 20th of October. And somebody that Anne works with, and someone that, as Anne says to me, oh, I love him. So I think it's probably like a good match.
Yeah.
And yeah, so people are working together, and it's interesting to see it all come together.
Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about the location of both of these books. So of course it's pretty obvious, The Last Witch on Skye. Tell us about Skye and why you wrote about it and how it all came to be.
Well, for the longest time, I didn't know where my Nicholson ancestors were from. I was looking for, tell you the truth, I was looking for my mother's people, the McDonalds. Well, good luck with that, I found out. So then I turned to the Nicholsons with much hope of being able to find out where they were from. However, I did a few little clues from the papers my father left. So off I go to Skye several times. Didn't find anything. Lots of Nicholsons there, but are they anyway, is that where I'm from? And so finally, somebody that I met up with in church said, "Oh, have you tried this little tiny genealogy place here in Portruy?" And I said, "No," and went there. And before I knew it, the very nice young woman that was there had pulled up the 1841 census of Skye, and there were my ancestors. And because it was a census, you knew exactly where they had been. And because I don't drive when I'm in Scotland, I don't know left from right, so it would be hopeless. And so we got a taxi and we drove out to this place, and which is more or less just deserted now, like so many places. And so we stood there and had our picture taken, my sister and I, and we found out where home was.
Wow. And let's bring the illustration into the discussion, because in behind you, Carolyn, is the cover, the gorgeous cover, and Elizabeth M. Gales, who has illustrated a few of the OC Publishing titles, including her own Orange Kitty. Welcome to the author journey, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Congratulations again on another beautiful job. Let's talk a little bit about the illustrations. Like, the two of you worked very closely together, which is always critical in bringing an author's vision to light. So talk a little bit about that relationship, Lisa.
It was really nice meeting Caroline, and we talked a lot about the places in Skye where the action would be happening, and the people and the culture. And it was very important to me to stay true to that. And I think it was also important to Caroline to stay true to that historical element. And so it was a lot of looking for images that truly represented her ideas, her characters, and the story. And I just had so much fun, not just doing the research, but finally illustrating the different images. Yeah, it was a wonderful project.
I remember so clearly when Carolyn and I first started working together, and sort of this whole idea evolved. And she talked about, these dragons and fairies, and you had just posted on Instagram this gorgeous sketch of a dragon reading a book. And I said, boy, have I got the illustrator for you. So now, and David being the designer, so, your designer brings like all the pieces together. So we have, the wordsmiths, the author and editor, the illustrator that brings the images to the forefront, and then the designer. David, like, what is it like for you as a designer to see this sort of teamwork sort of culminate? And, we do our best to bring the designers in at the very, very beginning. So Marianne, I believe, would have brought you in probably at the initial discussions.
Yeah, we talked about it early on. A book like this is lots of fun to work on because, because there is so much going on, and because it's a book where the design can actually, like, you can bring out the design, it can be noticeable, whereas there's some books where you don't really want the design to be noticed too much, especially like inside the book, because that kind of means you're doing something wrong if people are noticing it. But in a book like this, it can stand out because it's meant to be fun. It's for a younger audience, and you can add design elements that fit with the theme that make it a lot of fun. So in addition to Elizabeth's wonderful illustrations, we added we used a couple of Celtic themed fonts and design elements, put that all together with and then put that all together with the illustrations, especially on the cover, and just hopefully kept everything on the theme along with along lines of Carolyn's story. Yeah.
I think it was a tremendous success, and it's one of my favorite things when the whole team really gets excited. I mean, Marianne, what are your thoughts as you watch this all come together? And I'm looking at this back cover.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. That every single thing that you're drawing attention to, we've talked about, we've discussed, we've chosen, we've shown one another, and I'm not sure how much people fully appreciate that level of detail that goes into making a book. But this is a fabulous team. It's so great having collaborated with people who shared a vision, who brought an equal level of enthusiasm for the project. I do want to point out that one of the the particularly fun but also really difficult things with this project was that Elizabeth had created so many great illustrations, and we had to make some horrendously difficult decisions about which ones we could include. It's not a picture book, but we chose to add. So there are how many illustrations? 7? Do we have 7? I think.
7, I think. Yeah.
Plus some spot illustration, and the spot illustrations we put on the back cover. So like the decisions about which ones will go on the back cover, so we get to see 3 of our characters, our animal characters from the story appear on the back cover, but also, then adjusting the text so we'd have room for them. And so it's a lot of detail, and yet again, it was just so much fun and so satisfying to see the final result, how it's all come together.
I just love that. And for anybody who's watching, who's looking for an illustrator or designer or editor, these teams are so critical to putting out a professional product, right? And to have all of you who really embrace this and are so passionate. And Carolyn and I raised a glass in the very first opening. So I would like to raise a toast to all of you and congratulate you on this amazing, beautiful little book that it's so chock full of amazing. It's important to have a little drink after you.
Yes.
Bad luck otherwise.
It's polite not to.
And I know that we all struggle to pick our favorite, and they're all beautiful, but I'm going to show my favorite. I meant to put my finger in there just to make sure. Oh my goodness, where'd it go? My favorite is when they're in the air. Hang on. Where'd it go? Oh, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hand this over to, oh no, there it is. Okay. This is my favorite illustration. Like, who doesn't want to ride a dragon? I ask you. He doesn't look very happy about it, does he?
No, he's upset.
I want to point out something about all these decisions and so on. The guiding principle, I would say, was something that Carolyn kept talking about, that she wanted to delight her readers. Like, she wanted this to be a story that her readers would enjoy. And that went into which illustrations and what colors and what should we put on the back cover. And again, I think, Carolyn, probably your primary goal is going to be met with this book.
I agree. And that's a beautiful segue, because Carolyn has chosen an excerpt to read from The Last Witch on Skye. So this is probably a really great time for her to do that. So I'm going to hand the camera.
So we're all going to put our imagination caps on. And this is page 97. The cavern was very large with a lock in the middle. They skirted around the water, sometimes crawling over boulders or climbing onto ledges. They had no idea where they were going. I need to stop for a rest, Maggie, Ian said, and sat down on the nearest rock. His companions joined him. No one said anything. Everyone was wondering the same thing. Are we ever going to get out of here? After a bit of a rest, Maggie said, "Come on, we must find a way out." No sooner had she spoken than they heard an ear-splitting roar that filled the cavern and resounded off the walls. Ian grabbed Sean, and Sean grabbed Maggie, and they huddled together for a long time. What had been a bad situation was now so much worse. How much worse, they didn't know. "Whatever could that be, Maggie?" Sean asked. "It sounded like a dragon," Ian said. "How could that be?" Sean said. "There's no dragons in Scotland." "Could be a Welsh dragon. My mother was a Welsh fairy, and she told me stories about them," Ian replied. The other two looked puzzled. Weren't dragons extinct? "Well, there's nothing we can do but move forward," Maggie said, and they crept along as quietly as possible, eventually coming to the small chamber. "Could it be in there?" Ian whispered. "I think it's too small," Sean said. Another roar filled the cavern, causing their friends to shake uncontrollably and fall to the ground. After the echo of the roar died out, Maggie said, "I'm going to crawl forward to investigate the chamber." "Don't, Maggie," Ian said, his voice trembling. "I'll go with you," Sean said, trying to control his shaky hands. "No, Sean, you stay with Ian just in case I don't come back." She took a deep breath to calm her nerves, then crawled forward until the fairies lost sight of her. Minutes later, she returned. "What did you see, Maggie?" asked Sean and Ian in unison. Maggie said, "It's a dragon, all right. Come see." The fairies followed Maggie to the chamber and peered inside. They laughed and then stepped into the dragon's den.
And that's the little dragon, the Welsh dragon on the cover.
Mhm.
That was a great excerpt to choose, I think. What do you guys think?
Cliffhanger.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it.
Stepping into the dragon's den.
Oh, there we are.
I love it.
Love that. And you know what? What I really like about it is, building the suspense and then walking in and seeing this. Well, he could still be fierce, right?
True.
He
So,
was definitely trying to sound fierce.
of course. And how did you choose the characters?
I don't actually know. It seemed like they chose themselves, as far as I can tell. I just started writing about Skye fairies and dragons and witches and things like that, and it came so easily. I was rather surprised, and I just kept going with it and going with it until one day I thought, I wonder, and so I got someone to. I took a course on writing a children's book, and then I called Anne because she said that she looked at these kinds of things and did children's books to get some more advice. And so that is the story. I don't quite know how the whole thing happened. It just happened.
They jump into your head and they need to get out. And draw your attention to the little spider. I didn't realize until I looked much closer, and I'm not sure if I can get him close enough. How many eyes does he have, Lisa?
He has 8.
And why
As
does
spiders do.
Spiders have 8 eyes.
8 eyes.
They have 8 eyes, yeah.
8 legs and 8 eyes.
learn something new every day, right? Right?
Yeah.
And which was your favorite character to draw?
Oh, my favorite character. That's a tough one because I enjoyed them all. I got a real kick out of several. The dragon, of course, and the sea monster. Those ones I really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed drawing the cat, especially the one wearing the fuzzy sweater.
That is so funny.
Oh, that's one of my favorites as well. And look at that, I came across it much quicker. He's wearing, okay, for those of you, it's not in color, but he's wearing, Peggy or she is wearing a very itchy pink sweater.
And she's very annoyed.
Very happy about it. So you see how cross she is. That's a grumpy cat. Oh my goodness. And so were there illustrations that you were like, oh, I'm so disappointed those didn't get in?
Oh, yeah, I would love to have all my illustrations in the book, but I completely understand that you have to pick and choose. But I enjoyed creating all of the images that came into my head and being able to offer you enough to be able to really choose between a number of them. So I had a blast doing these.
If this was a movie, we could include those in the deleted scenes on the DVD.
Who's your favorite?
All through the credits or something, the extra.
Oh, I love those. The outros, yeah.
Maybe we'll put them on the website.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yes, we'll have to discuss that.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
See if Lisa likes that idea.
Yeah, it's might. Who was your favorite character, Marianne?
It's hard not to love Ian.
Right.
So
describe Ian.
Explain,
Yeah,
I'll set it up a little bit. But so the central character is Maggie, a young witch on Skye, and she has made a lovely connection with the king and queen of the fairies. And due to some daring exploits, she's assigned 2 fairy soldiers to kind of be her protectors. Really, they become her very, very close friends. They right from the beginning of the novel, they undertake a big adventure together, and they become very close friends. But so they're Sean and Ian as a soldier struggles a little bit because he's very, very fond of oatcakes and not so fond of marching. And he also likes, anytime they go on a hike, he wants to bring all of his teacups and napkins. Anyway, he's very, very humorous. It's hard not to love him. But this I did want to point out that I talked about delight for the readers. There's so much humor in this book. So Ian for me is one of the central humorists. He's the cause of a lot of the humor, the things that made me giggle out loud every single time I read them.
And where did Ian come from, Carolyn?
Well, Ian reminds me a lot of someone that I know very well. We can't say who. Well, maybe we have to say who, because somebody that I know very, very, very well, who loves oatcakes and not so much marching around.
And did you know that you had a sense of humor? Like, is that your natural way of, did it surprise you as you were writing that this sort of funny side came out? Or
well, I guess it did, because it felt like I was part of the whole thing, and it was fun to do. So it was easy to come up with sort of funny little scenes and things like that, because I was having fun, so why shouldn't they have fun? And so I guess that's where it came from. I would never have called myself, like a humorist or anything like that. But it just seemed to be so easy to do.
And you, as you've said, you've been to Skye a few times, and you will be going back. So this scene here, which is really beautifully described in the book, did that come from a location that you have in your mind? So talk a little bit about that.
Not so much in my mind. This is the area where my ancestors were from. And so I had all the tourist books that I bought when I was there several times. So I bought tourist books, and they had lovely, lovely, lovely pictures, of course, by professional photographers. So it was easy to recall some of those locations. And I certainly got out my tourist books and sat there and looked at these. And I remember talking to Lisa about the rocks that's on the front cover there, that we had to sort of make them look as pointy and
realistic,
because they look a lot like the actual rocks that are there. So Lisa took, I think I gave you some of my picture books, didn't I, Lisa?
You did.
And so she was able to see what I was seeing. But I had been there to see all this, but on tours and things like that. But the picture books really keep it fresh in your mind.
And Marianne, what was the process like as far as sort of communicating that so that everybody understood the direction that you were going with it?
Are you talking about the cover in particular, or
like the whole look and feel, like including the design?
Yeah, well, I mean, the story really informed the look and feel. Like, I think Elizabeth got it right away, right? And from having sat down with Carolyn, and your particular style and bringing that to play. So, and then David adding all those beautiful Celtic details in the other additional design elements. So again, I feel like people got it right away. It was all there in the story to start with. And it was important to Carolyn, I know, to bring that sense of place to the story. And that's reflected in the illustrations. It's reflected in the design. So again, teamwork.
I love it. It's an amazing team here. And so, Carolyn, what would your message be? Like, what are some of the big messages in the book that you hope? I mean, and we know people are going to enjoy this book. We know there's going to be joy and delight, but are there underlying messages that you want people to get from here?
Well, it's interesting because I said to people numerous times that there was no message in the book. It was just I wanted children to have fun. Children have so much stuff going on in their lives, and there's a lot of nasty stuff out there that seems to, I feel so badly for the children. So I just wanted them to have something where they could just immerse themselves and have fun for a little bit of time. So I had no real message. But everybody that reads the book tells me what the message is. And it's different for each person. And so that was, I think, sort of interesting.
And I love that because sort of you've inadvertently, because you've been approaching it with this joy, but there's, blended families, there's, good versus evil, and there's, lessons learned, like making good choices. And I know that Marianne has a real sense of that as well.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about that actually with the excerpt you read, Carolyn, and thinking how one of the enduring messages of the book to me is friendship, and the way, like Sean and Ian, there they are in this terrifying situation. And, I also love Maggie's approach. There's a message there, there's no way to go but forward, right? Like, here we go. We have no choice. We're just going to proceed. And then Sean saying, I'll come with you. And her saying, no, protect your friend. It's this beautiful, beautiful story about friendship and working together. And there's there's so much in this sweet little tale. It's entertaining, but the big message too about, right, Magaidh has to choose. Will she get revenge on the people who are trying to kick all the witches and supernatural beings out of Skye? Or will she take the fairy queen's advice and look for a peaceful resolution?
Yeah.
Those are big decisions when you're mad at someone. You really want to take revenge, right? So no, there's a lot of substance to the book in addition to the humor and joy.
David, what you're nodding as a dad, like, does that resonate with you? Like, and of course, Mary as a mom and Elizabeth as a mom.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't need to hit kids over the head with a message or something, but just to have it subtly in the subtext of the story, the way the characters are presented, it's invaluable. And it may not even have been, the author's intention in this case. Like, if Carolyn may have not set out to write a story with a particular message, but it comes out because that's part of, it's part of her nature, or it's part of the characters that she created. It's just in there. Yeah.
And it's a part of life, right? And even though, they were banned from Skye, they're back. So, right? They're back. And I'm so excited. And I want to wrap things up. But, again, kudos to everybody for a wonderful project. Very excited that today, official launch day, Magaidh and her friends are out in the world. And so many people have said, let's have more adventures. Wouldn't it be fun? What do you think?
Further adventures of Magaidh, Ian, and Sean. Absolutely, I'm in.
All right, we'll bring this team back because boy, oh boy, it's unbeatable. So
it would be worth it to write another book just to get us all back together again.
I think so. I'd love to draw some more of those fantastic characters.
Oh, maybe this could be the deleted scenes. We get to use the illustrations. Create an additional story around all those existing illustrations.
I think that's a great idea. So I think we're all on board for that one. So get working.
Yeah. Well, you're going back to Skye, right? Maybe you'll get some inspiration there.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking notes, and I'm going to. I already have an idea.
Is it a hard place to get to? It seems like it might be.
If you drive, it's not bad at all.
Okay.
I can't face the idea of driving. I don't enjoy the whole vacation if I have to drive. And I did it once, so I know that for a fact. So, but there's no train, there's no planes on Skye. There's buses, and to get on and off Skye, you have to get on a bus.
Yeah.
So they're limiting the traffic, which is nice. Excellent.
Yeah. That makes it more of a
congratulations on birthing this baby, girls and boys. We're very excited. Again, cheers to the team, to the author, to all of the readers out there. Please let us know if you give it a read.
You're a fabulous team, and I thank you so much.
Yay. So
Thanks for having
see
me.
you again on the author journey, guys. Thanks so much for
Take care.
Cheers.
thank you everybody for joining us for party time on the author journey, and congratulations again to the team and to Carolyn J. Nicholson for the launch of this beautiful book. And we'll see you again next time on the author journey. For now, I'm Anne O'Connell with OC Publishing, and happy reading and writing. Bye for now.